Alright, alright. Hello everyone, and am I gonna fuck this up? Easy, okay. And welcome to the 8th, I think this is the 8th, time flies. To the 8th episode of Champions Corner, the For Honor podcast. Today with me I have Havoc, maybe in the future Zero Craig if he decides to end his boxing career watching, and Setback. So Havoc, I'm sure everyone knows you, but just in case, who are you and what do you do?
Hey everyone, I'm Havoc. I'm basically one of the popular For Honor YouTubers, and I've been concentrating more on streaming these days, so I guess I can call myself a streamer as well. That's pretty much it.
Alright, and Setback, welcome to the stream as well.
Hey.
Hey. Thank you for the host, Setback, I appreciate it.
You're welcome, bud.
Yeah. Okay, so, as I said, Craig is supposed to be here, but he has some very important arrangements. So we'll see if he comes later on. If not, then we're just gonna have a three-person podcast, which is fine. And let's get right into it. So first, am I gonna do this correctly? Let's go. Okay, news. So there hasn't been a podcast for the last 3 weeks. Usually it's supposed to be bi-weekly, but I couldn't make it last week because I was home. So what's been happening the last few weeks? So there was a decent amount of tournaments. Actually a decent amount of tournaments. Just that not that many people participated in them. But the Mistress Mayhem happened, which had over a $500 prize pool, $500 prize pool, which we'll talk about in a minute as well. 2 4v4 tournaments happened as well. There was a few 1v1. I think the Initial Gaming was this past 3 weeks as well. I think that happened. The Initial Gaming 1v1 tournament happened. I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So there was a lot of tournaments. There was the Gamescom reveal, which we'll be talking about later as well. And there was the quote-unquote drama. We won't be talking about the drama itself. We'll be talking about what it implies and what are the consequences of not necessarily the situation that occurred, but maybe more like the bigger picture of what happened. So we'll be talking about that later on as well. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else, but I think that's about it. Well, if you guys are watching whether on YouTube or on my Twitch channel, then I'm sure you know that I started a Hero Friday series where I just learn a hero from the best characters of each hero. So I'm sure you know that. And if you don't, then also please make sure to vote in the poll. That's going to be very important for us, for me. And it's going to decide what the next character will be that we'll do the guide for. And okay, so. Am I gonna do this correctly? PC 4v4 tournaments. Okay. Someone said Havoc is too quiet. Well, I can't really turn him up. He's already at 200%. I could try and have it like a little bit turned up on my volume. We'll see. Havoc, can you say something now?
Yeah, hello.
Hello. Probably still more quiet than the others, but maybe better.
I'll try and speak up then.
Okay.
When I'm talking.
Alright, so the first thing we'll be talking about is the PS4 4v4 tournaments, and just like a really quick mention, because again, the tournaments were in the most popular, let's say, and let me just make sure that this works. So as you can see by my character selection, I was playing Bulk almost the entire tournament. Clash was playing Raider, Sand almost the entire tournament. Only in the finals we changed the characters a little bit. So that was one tournament that we ended up winning, and it was just a fun tournament for me to try and play Bulk. That's honestly what it was. And Bulk is in 44, but she's fun. And then there was the next 44 tournament, which happened I think last week or 2 weeks ago. I think it was last week because I wasn't there because I was on the friend's birthday. So that was a tournament that Quilt, Treejack, Coconut, and who's their fourth? New Into. They won the tournament against UDA in the finals, which UDA had Jordan instead of me as the sub. So that was the tournament, and honestly there isn't much else to say. The competitive scene in terms of 4v4 is kind of stagnating for a while because the meta is kind of boring, which is a topic for another day. Maybe for next podcast we can talk about that. But yeah, those are the tournaments, and those are the 4v4 tournaments. And I don't know, did you guys watch them even? Havoc, Setback? Were you guys watching, or are you guys aware of that these happened?
Yeah, I heard about them, but I wasn't able to watch.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the tournaments these days. Yeah, which is kind of sad, but maybe in the future, maybe at season 8 we'll be able to get more teams and more signups in general. Okay, so that was the 44 tournament. I just really wanted to talk about who won, honestly. And then the 2v2 tournament that happened, that was actually big. There was it was, well, big in terms of the money. It was Mistress Mayhem, which is, I think, like her seventh tournament, which is pretty good. Like, I think it's just a monthly tournament that just has been happening for 7 months now. And yeah, I think this was the 7th one for season 7. And it ended up being won by Kalach and Setmix, who won with Nobushi Warden, as far as I remember. I played in the tournament, but I wasn't like, capable of streaming it, so you can't really see it from my perspective. But Mistress and Clutch were both streaming it. Mistress was the main stream, so if you want to watch the tournament, you can watch it there on Mistress or Clutch Master's stream, or Setmix's as well. And yeah, that was won by Nobushi Warden, and that had over $500 prize pool, which was insane. I think this was the biggest prize pool since what? Since Hero Series? Maybe. Oh no, well, I guess since Defend the North, but not counting Defend the North as a tournament because it is a LAN, so obviously not very accessible to many people. Then I guess it was the biggest one since like the second Hero Series, which is a while ago.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. There was a tournament that happened recently as well, the Mistress Mayhem, the previous one that had a lot of money, but I don't think it was quite that much. So yeah, very big tournament in terms of money. I don't know. So I guess I'll ask you guys the same question again. Did you watch it?
I watched the 2v2. Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably my favorite tournament to watch out of them all, to be honest.
All right, Sebek.
No, I didn't watch it.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page because I also didn't watch it. I played in it, but after losing, I didn't watch it. For me, and we kind of say that since Havoc, you said that it's your favorite tournament or your favorite mode to watch. For me, personally, it's extremely boring. But what do you like about it specifically? Just so that it's not just like, oh yeah, we all hate 2v2. You clearly like it. So what do you like about it?
I mean, it's just a bit of. I mean, like, you have the 1v1 tournaments, which can be quite boring sometimes to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a lot going on, and it's quite hectic. But I don't know. For me, it's a nice balance of both. It's it's kind of in the middle. Literally, I don't know. I just enjoy watching the twos most. It's
all right.
Not too hectic, like,
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Me personally, as we pretty much say this on every stream and every podcast, because every podcast has pretty much talks about the Mistress Mayhem because they happen frequently. And it's just kind of started off every time the podcast. So started like at the very beginning, it was just like talking for like 20-30 minutes about the tournament. Then we just kind of got bored. Like us as the competitive players specifically, but I realized as the viewers it must be really fun because so much money into it, so the people must be really liking it, right?
Yeah, like I think the reasons why people like it and the reasons why some players don't like it, they're both valid. It's just a difference in experience and priority from like and you correct me if I'm wrong, Learn, because I mean I haven't played in them, but you have. But from a player perspective, the frustration or boredom comes a lot from the very stagnant meta picks and how only certain heroes are been pretty consistently the only viable options for the most part.
That's a big part of it, yeah.
And then just the lack of moves that those few viable picks can perform during the actual fights. Like, Kensei is going to be doing a lot of zone attacks, for example, and that's not the most engaging way to play the game, but it is the optimal way to play a lot of times in 2v2. But I think, so that's kind of the player side of it, that it seems like to me why that could be boring. But from a viewer side, sure, the Kensei is probably going to be zoning, but there's like a lot of weird mind games that a lot of people I think is like, if you happen to get a guard break on someone trying to dodge a conch bash, okay, so now what's going to happen once that guard break connects? Or is the partner going to try to stop the punish on the guard break? Does that open themselves up to be punished,
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of those moment-to-moment, very quick reactions and mind games that I think a lot of people actually kind of like. And then there's also occasionally that burst of aggression that occurs, which you don't see that in 1v1 very often, but in 2v2, all of a sudden, someone can just get melted down instantly.
Yeah, the Beyblade.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's where, from a spectator standpoint, a lot of people like it, but that doesn't make the player's experience and boredom invalid. It's just different sets of priorities from a viewer to player experience.
Yeah, I think 1v1 is boring to watch and to play, and from what I gathered, 2v2 seems to be fun to watch. I don't think maybe Clutch and Sepmix. I know Sepmix doesn't like it. Maybe Clutch likes it in terms of to play 2v2. I obviously I don't exactly know. But and then 4v4, you can't really watch it very well, right? Because there's no spectator mode. But that's the main mode that we like to play, right? So it's kind of like 2v2 is kind of in the middle with. Well, it may not be extremely fun to watch, but there's money in it, right? And so for the viewers, it's fun to watch, and because of that, there's the money in it.
Yeah, I think that's what Havoc was coming from.
Yeah.
And he can correct me if I'm wrong, but like he said, it's a balance. It's in the middle. It's not staring contest like 1v1, and it's not like an unwatchable mess that 4v4 is without a spectator mode. It's kind of a nice mixture.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, as much as myself, obviously, I don't like. Well, I don't like watching it because I know how it works, like, and I'm kind of bored of it after a year and a half. But people clearly like it.
I don't know, man. Any 2v2 with Legion in it, I think.
Oh yeah, well, with Legion, I did a quote-unquote coaching session with Legion in 1v1, and that was fun. So I think anything with Legion is going to be fun.
Exactly.
The Legion comes, and I just need more of that in my life.
I was gonna say the.
You're cutting off a little bit, so I'm not exactly sure what you're saying.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying. Can you hear me?
You went robot, the perfect time again.
Yeah, you're like, so I was just saying.
I'll try to fix.
It's fine. It's just the funny timing.
I think what Havoc's trying to say was please sub to Alernakin on Twitch.tv.
Alernakin. Yeah, we'll be the translators for you today.
All right, let me try again.
Okay.
I was just saying I enjoy the rivalry between Clutch and Legion in the 2v2s because he doesn't really play fours, so there's no rivalry there, like,
Yeah, 2v2 and 1v1 in the past has had pretty nice storylines with at least storylines, like, from my perspective, because obviously I'm a for glory every day and things like that, so I know what these people say to each other, at least publicly. So in 1v1 there was a decent amount of storylines, but then there wasn't kind of anything for a while. Like during the 1v1 Hero series, the qualifiers were so much fun. The NA ones especially, because of people like Cypher. There's a lot of fun watching, and because there was so much.
A lot of great drama.
Yeah, a lot of drama, a lot of storylines coming from that. And then you can easily transition that into the LAN, and then you can have storylines there. In 2v2 doesn't happen as much, but yeah, like Clutch, for example, shit talking Legion every time he wins or something like that. That makes the same thing. Then that's a storyline as well, right? Which I don't know if casters bring it up much. I hope they do, because it's a. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because I'm seeing myself on stream right now walking into 7 traps.
I was watching that too.
Yeah, I guess like most of the rivalry goes on behind the scenes that people don't really see that on the stream, do they? So
yeah, I was actually about to bring that up. Like the international, which is a big Dota 2 tournament's going on, and that's something that they've capitalized.
I didn't know what the international was.
Well, some people watching. Yeah, you're doing a podcast, right? And you have some viewers, right?
Yeah, okay, some viewers.
But that's something that they've done a very good job almost every year on, is capitalizing on those basically already present storylines, but fleshing them out and bringing them forward so the audience can be a part of it. And that's a lot harder to do when a lot of the shit talking stuff happens on a very special For Glory Discord server.
Yeah.
But I think that's one thing that could be better done, and I wouldn't rely on Ubisoft having to be competent, but at the same time, the issue there is that, the amount of people and the variety of people playing is pretty limited right now. So it would get redundant, after not too much time.
Yeah, another issue is that, like, I personally, for example, like back in May last year, back in, like, those times, I would shit talk a lot, but these days I'm just kind of like bored of. Oh, Crack is here. We have a guest. Welcome, Crack.
How's it going, boys?
How's the boxing going?
There's another fight, the main one, but I said I'd come on the podcast.
Oh, thank you very much for the sacrifice.
€8 gone down the drain on that shit.
We have a guest here. We have a guest, Bush. Welcome to the podcast, Craig.
What's the story?
The story right now is we're talking about the tournaments recently that happened. So it's the 4v4 tournaments that we already kind of talked about, and now we're talking about the 2v2.
Okay.
Did you watch the 2v2, the Mistress Mayhem? The one that had like so much more in it?
No, I've been on a bit of hiatus. I was watching like every tournament before that, but as you know, I've been on a bit of a hiatus. I've been reflecting on For Honor a lot.
Oh no, that's a dangerous path. Okay, well, yeah, we're just talking about it being like a spectator kind of mode and things like that.
Yeah, we basically were just talking about how a lot of players that play in the 2v2 tournaments don't really enjoy themselves. Some do.
I'm sure
like
some do.
Some gamers like do Kawhi apparently.
Yeah, Kawhi loves it. Yeah, it's his favorite.
But a lot of players don't. However, it seems to be resonating a lot with the viewership that does watch tournaments. It seems to be when the prize pool kind of speaks volumes about the interest in it, and then just the numbers in general are always pretty dang good for a For Honor tournament.
Yeah,
and we're just kind of dissecting why that is, like why viewers seem to like it but players don't.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the viewers are watching that as opposed to their other option that can be spectated, which is once.
Yeah,
of course. That's one of the reasons. Yeah. The other reason is like for why there's not that many storylines is kind of like currently especially there's one team that practices really for 2v2 tournaments, and it's been this way for like 5 months. Like 5 months ago when we Score and I played 2v2 a decent amount, there was like 3-4 teams practicing for those 2v2 tournaments, and the rest of course still try to do their best and things like that. Of course, I'm not.
Yeah, they don't throw away the towel as soon as they come in.
Yeah,
even give it a go.
Yeah, even in the last tournament where we play Kawhi and I played Valkan and Aramusha, we didn't throw it. We won a map against, for example, Clash and Sadmix, right? We tried our best, we just didn't win, despite the character choice. But yeah, so that could be another reason why there's not that many storylines. Because just kind of other people just kind of don't care as much. But I mean, that's kind of similar to what Ubisoft tried to do with the 4v4 tournament that they had, the qualifiers and things like that. They were meaning, or they were trying to make storylines and make those like rivalries between the teams. They had all those graphics and things like that, but it didn't really work out.
I remember those little voice lines or little mini interviews they could have.
Yeah, like they didn't really do much. Like for example. They could have had us, for example, or someone else, or the captain, or the players on the team, on Skype and just shit talking each other on the Warriors Den or something. Nothing really came out of that, but they did have. There was an attempt made, so something like that. More of that would be nice as well for the future. And the storylines built themselves because that was like the seventh tournament, so it's already the storylines already built itself up. Okay, so I think that's about it for the tournaments. There was the 1v1 initial gaming tournament that happened as well, which Legion won that one, I think. I'm pretty sure Legion won that one.
I think it was Legion.
Yeah, he was against Ghostover in the finals, and he won the tournament. I remember watching the finals, but I didn't watch anything else. But yeah, I watched the finals, and Legion won that tournament. So that was also just just to make sure that every tournament is kind of shouted out. Okay, so now we can go to Gamescom. So Gamescom happened, or is still happening, I think. Is it?
What day is today?
Yeah, today was the last day.
Today was the last day.
Okay, so it happened, and there's the new PvE mode announced, which is called Arcade Mode, I think. And there's the 2 new characters announced, or I guess shown rather than announced. Nuja, and Jiangjun is, I think, one of those. I think I got slightly right. So the PvE mode first. Is there any footage that I could find of that? I'm not exactly sure if there is any. I think there is some actually on the newest Warriors then.
Yeah, I think they showed a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, they showed a little bit of it. So let me.
I mean, you'd find some on YT as well. Like,
oh yeah, of course. I just
a lot of people were.
Yeah, I just want to use the Warriors Den footage right now, if there is any, which I found that there is.
Yeah, it's the most up to date.
Yeah. All right, Gamescom reveals. Yeah, so the PVE mode is the one they showed right now. They're showing right now, which is PVE. What else is there? It's a PVE mode with Oh, my cat really is trying to leave the house. There's a PvE mode with modifiers, where I think the higher you go, the more difficult it gets with the modifiers, and it's against bots, of course. It's PvE. Also, we're seeing on the stream right now. We're seeing the new slick menu for the character selection. That's actually that looks pretty poggers.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I think it's an idea a lot of people had. Have your character in the main menu screen, your last one selected, so you can see, your customization and stuff that you have on. It kind of shows it off a bit more.
Yeah,
it's a lot cleaner too.
Yeah, it looks really good. I wonder what's gonna happen. I wonder if they're gonna change it again. For example, they add more characters in the future. I wonder if they would change it again. Probably, if but there's a lot of space here actually. Well, either way, so PvE mode. Havoc, you were at Gamescom, right? Did you play it?
Yeah, I had a 1 hour slot to play arcade mode and the new heroes.
Okay, so how was the arcade mode specifically right now?
It was actually it was amazing.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. Like when you look at the trailer and the whole arcade mode concept, you might think, no big deal, but it is actually a lot of fun. I was really surprised when I actually got my hands on it. So, and the best thing about it is, Alan, is that like it caters to all levels of players. From new players to even pros like yourself. So I was really surprised with how difficult the later level.
So is it because I don't know as much about it, because obviously I haven't played it as much as you have, or I haven't played at all actually. So is it like you can change the modifiers yourself, or are they kind of dictated by the game each chapter?
Yeah, they're random every single time.
Oh, okay, they're random.
Yeah. So, like, sometimes you'll have you'll have like pros and cons. In sometimes you'll be given extra shield or extra damage on attacking, but you'll also have negative effects, like sometimes you won't be able to parry and stuff like that. So.
Okay. I think it'd be really cool if they made so that you can customize them yourself. I don't know, because you said this is random. I think if they could do it so that it's customizable by yourself, so you choose what you want, or you choose what you want the opponent to have. So you could like give him all the buffs and give yourself all the debuffs, and then try to get the challenge done, kind of thing. It's kind of like there's co-op in StarCraft right now, where you can do mutations, which are basically modifiers that you can just add on top of the game. And you can make it more difficult for yourself if you want to. It's just for a challenge. So if that's not in right now, I hope that's in the future.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if that's. But I don't know. I didn't see that anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, I hope that's there in the future. So that's the arcade mode. Is how long is it? Like is it like a kind of like a quote unquote storyline, and then it's just over, or can you just keep playing it?
Yeah, I mean, I believe it is random every single time. There is 5 stages of, and within those stages, I think there's like 5 or 6 chapters. So there is a lot. There is a lot to get through.
Okay.
The amount of chapters actually scale with the difficulty you select, and that also increases or decreases the gear score that the bots will have, and that is recommended to you. So I think if you pick the easiest difficulty, I don't think there's any gear score given to the bots, and also it's only I think 4 chapters if I remember correctly. But then every time you increase the difficulty, it recommends a higher tier gear score, and gives the bots that tier gear score, and also it adds a chapter, I believe, that you have to complete.
Yeah,
so I wonder what's this gear score is gonna be? Is it going to just be the old gear score that we have right now, or is it gonna be the perks?
Yeah, it's basically, I believe it's the gear score of the character that you're using, basically.
Yeah, it's going to be the feats, but it still has like a numerical total that you can go up to. So like when you unlock, you know, the blue ranking of gear, you know, then if you have all blue gear, that adds up to a total gear score of whatever, you know. But it doesn't give you the stats like it would. It can have that many feats or that many points for feats on it.
All right. There's Tiff in the chat, the Reddit mod, who's currently doing my job for me. He said that they will be doing weekly challenges sometime after the launch, where they will make static challenges that give exclusive rewards. So that's basically what I was talking about with StarCraft. Except with StarCraft, you can also, on top of that, having that, you can also make it yourself. But if that were in the future, on top of what you just said, Tiff, that'd be really cool. Yeah, just something that you can just go back every week to and just play, kind of like the PvE things that we had for the event that was 2 seasons ago. Where I remember
test your metal.
Yeah, test your metal. I remember like Ice Guys was like struggling to finish it.
That was one of my favorite streams to watch, was him trying to beat that.
Yeah, him trying to beat it with Warren specifically, and like him trying like multiple hours of the last week especially on the hardest difficulty by himself or whatever. Where's the difficulty? I don't think there was, but by himself trying to do one and just kind of 1v4ing the boss. It was a lot of fun to watch. And I hope that this could be like a thing where I could, for example, every Monday I could just play that mode the entire stream, for example, right, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. But yeah, it sounds really good. Now let's go back. So that's the PvE mode. We can't really spend too much time on it, but it seems really cool, and I'm happy that. Oh, and also about the gear stat, Tiff gear stats thing. Tiff said that in the chat right now that they're just placeholders right now, and there will be perks in the future, just so that everyone knows. Okay, so now. The characters. So we got details on the 2 new characters, Nuja, something like that, and Janjun, something like that. I'm really good at names. So those are the 2 new characters, and Havoc again, since you had the time to play them a little bit at Gamescom. So what did you think of them? And kind of before we go like to the movesets and things like that, like just kind of what did you think of them playing them?
To be honest, I didn't get a lot of time on the new heroes because I was concentrating more on the arcade mode with like the current heroes that I knew how to play. Because I didn't have much time, so I didn't have time to actually learn the character. But I did have a little bit of time on Zhang Jun.
Okay,
that's how you call it. From what I see of him, he's going to be pretty good, I think, especially in T mods because he's got like quite a few unblockables. He's got the soft feints as well, and he's pretty fast for a big guy. So I think he's going to be quite decent.
Okay. And what about Nusha?
Well, Nusha, I didn't get much time on her, but I am hearing that she's a bit of a game changer from quite a few people that have played her. So I'm definitely interested how she plays out in the competitive scene.
Okay. So let's go to the maybe specifically more movesets. So Nusha, I think I've said like 5 different versions of that name. So Nusha, she is an assassin, right? I'm not incorrect in saying that. It's not like a hybrid, weird hybrid reflex guard. It's an assassin.
We should ask Roman.
Yeah, maybe ask
what type of character it is.
Yeah, maybe. So she's an assassin that has 1 chain. And has 1 mechanic to her. That's the entire character. And whether she's going to be fun or not relies completely on whether that new mechanic is good, I think. Because if it's not good, well then you have only a chained character. Because she has she has a free hit chain that she can, I think, throw a heavy and a light at every point of them. Just like Orochi kinda. And that's the chain. That's it. That's all she has in her moveset, as far as I remember watching the screenshot or something like that. So, and people said for other characters were one dimensional. She might have 2 dimensions if the mechanic's good. So what the mechanic does is if you try to defend, you will get hit. That's kind of the idea here. The trap, I think is what they're calling it. The trap hits people who try to deflect, who try to superior block, who try to parry. On who try to block the attack, but you can, for example, light attack it. You can like if you see the trap coming, you can press the light attack button. I don't know if you can do it in reaction. Hopefully not, But if you can do it in reaction, then all you have to do is on the trap, just press light attack button and it works, because that's not a parry attempt. I'm not exactly sure how zone work here, like a zone option select, if it counts as a parry, if it counts as a zone. I'm not exactly sure how that works. Probably as a parry, because it is a parry.
Well, yeah, how is that going to work? Where if you can you just throw a heavy out? Because technically you're not going to block it, right?
Well, heavy is a parry, right? If you do it early enough, then sure. But if you do it, I assume that's the idea at least. If you do it on the timing of the trap, you're going to get hit because you try to parry the heavy. So you can do the light, because light is not a parry, is I think how this works.
Maybe. Yeah, I just don't know how, like, I'm just worried about the levels of spaghetti code that are going to interact with is that a parry or not kind of situation.
Well, I think there'd be a lot more spaghetti if they didn't do what they did. So the trap doesn't work on hit stunned people and block stunned people. So you cannot hit the trap on someone who's parrying an attack right now, or you cannot hit the trap on someone who's block stunned by heavy. So you cannot use it in 4v4 very well. I mean, of course you can use it in 4v4 on people who are external blocking you or something, but you cannot set it up to make it guaranteed. It's always not going to be guaranteed, is kind of the way it works. The trap also, yeah, as TBL48 said in the chat, the trap also whiffs if the opponent is just not blocking. So if they decide to just move the guard away, it's gonna whiff. I don't know if you can punish. I don't know.
Gladiator would be a big counter to her, I think. Then
I'm hidden stance.
As a gladiator, you just don't block ever because of your reflex guard.
Or hidden stance, you don't block ever because you just stand on one leg. Like, what's she gonna do? Like, it doesn't block. I think it hits full blocks, but it doesn't hit non-blocks like a hidden stance. So, but yeah, like I hope that trap is good, because if it's not good, then we have a hero that's literally light attack or chain the hero. So I hope it's
just another one of them heroes. That's alright.
So I hope the trap is good. Trap is 400 MS, by the way. You can easily react to it with a light or guard break. Well, that can be changed still. So that's still the specific frame data is still not very good. Not very reliable. But yeah, if it's 400 MS, then it's not very good. Yes, because then that's easily reactable. Okay, so I think that's. Oh, she also has dash attacks. She also has that. She's not chain attack the hero. She also has dash attacks.
Wow.
The side dash attacks are just standard dash attacks, and the forward one is a little bit slower, but she has dash attacks as well. And also, actually, the chain finisher heavies they work kind of like Valk's finisher lights, where if you hit the finisher heavy, it's gonna like throw them somewhere. So if you hit a left heavy, it's gonna throw them right. If you hit a right heavy, it's gonna throw them left. And if you hit a top heavy, it's gonna hit them backwards. It's gonna throw them backwards. So that's what it is. And is there anything else about the character? Not exactly sure. Oh,
I don't think so.
Even Warriors then knows when we finish. So now we're going to Zheng Jun. So Zheng Jun has an unblockable zone. His second heavies are unblockable as far as I remember. And his first heavies have hyper armor. He also has 600 MS chain lines because Raider is a really good character. And he has... The unblockable zone is off a parry, by the way. Off a parry, he has an unblockable zone. And he has another parry counter where he like kind of chokes them, and if they're out of stamina, he throws them on the ground. And then he can get, I assume, a heavy or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. I think he can get a heavy out of that. Then he has what is it, Sifu stance, Sifu stance, something like that, which he can cancel startup of every attack except I think his lights with it, and he can cancel the recovery of Cypher stance. Yeah, Cypher stance. So I don't think he can, I think he cannot count the guard break on it. But he can zone out of it, and he can... Ah, shit. He can do one more thing. He can... Oh, it gives iframes. It gives iframes. It gives a little bit of iframes. And of course, it recovers his stamina faster. You can use it when you're out of stamina as well. So you can, zone, parry twice, I guess, zone twice, do the unblockable zone, then kind of leave the fight for a second, regen your stamina while out of stamina even, and then go back to the fight and get those parries again. Because he's gonna be in team fights. I think he's gonna be like kind of parry the hero, kind of like Lawbringer sometimes in team fights, kind of just sitting there and hoping for the parry. I think that's gonna be this character as well. his lights are 600 ms. The chain lights are 600 ms from the frame data that I think Freeze did. I don't want to like put him on the spot and be like, no, actually, no, it wasn't him. I think it was him.
Very cool.
I think the chain ones are 600 ms because
yeah, because what?
Because Raider is a great hero, and so is Glider's, chained light. So I think
I think
very impressive.
I think 600 might be a bit quick, you know.
Well, it's actually 533 if you account for the latency or the lack of compensation. So it's actually really quick.
So definitely too quick, then.
Definitely too quick. I hope they make it.
Is there any 700 ms in lights in game right now, or is just 600?
Yes. There's 700. There's 600. 700 is Centurion's third light, for example.
I think that should be the global standard. I mean, the universalized standard of dodge. I think we can do that with lights.
Yeah, I think there's a 900 ms light in Kong's lights. There's a 800 or 900 ms light in what's that character's called? Lawbringer. Is it really a character? I don't know, but Lawbringer has a 900 or 800 ms light as well.
I think it would be a good idea to change that 800 ms light to just Lawbringer stabs himself in the chest with his own weapon.
Yeah, so the opponent can parry, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he'll take less damage by hurting himself.
Well, that would be unlocked tech, though, and we will talk about that in a bit. Thank you for the segue, but it's a little bit too early. Okay, so going back to the Zhang Zhan. I said that there's a question in chat. Never mind, there's no question. I looked at the wrong thing. Never mind, sorry. So his second heavies are all unblockable, and I think he can cancel every attack except the lights into his Sifu stance, as is being shown right now. Yeah, he's doing the second heavy, and he's canceling into Sifu stance, and he can cancel the recovery of his lights as well with Sifu stance. So it cancels the recovery, and it can feint. It's pretty much a hidden stance that cannot guard break, but it gives you stamina instead of taking it, kind of thing. And that's kind of the character again. He has an unblockable zone out of parry. He has unblockable heavies as the second heavies. He has high perm on his first heavies, and he has 600 ms chain lights, and he has 500 ms opener lights, and he has a parry counter. And it's a little bit more to him. He has a dash attack. That's a heavy, and he can soft feint that into a light as well if he wants to.
And it comes out of the opposite direction.
Yeah, it comes out of the opposite direction. If it came out from the same direction, it'd be a sick mix-up. Just have that from the same direction. But no, yeah, it comes out from a different direction. I don't know if you can chain after it. I'm not exactly sure. I think you can. Oh, you cannot? Oh, well, that's really bad then.
Yeah.
That's like Shaolin, which is really bad. Highlander's second line is 700. No, it's 600. Second line is 600. It has high parameters just like the heavy. Is there? Oh, actually, yeah. He can forward. He has a kind of like a pommel strike kind of thing, where he can soft feint his forward dash heavy into like a pommel hit that confirms a light.
Shin kick.
I don't know if it's not really a shin kick, but it is. He's training out of it in the video though. Is he? If it's trainable, then sure, that's okay. If it's not, then that's really bad. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, there you could see the unblockable zone. And he has a parry counter as well. I don't know if they show it. They showed it in some other video, Finding Cowboys video, I think. Oh yeah, there we go. And it throws them on the ground. He gets a heavy. He gets a heavy. Okay, there we go. So I don't know if the parry counter itself deals damage. Nope. It just drains a lot of stamina. Okay, but if it drains stamina, then it throws them on the ground, and then you get a heavy. Oh, you can even get the unblockable heavy. Okay, so he's a character that if he has bad hitboxes, he's not gonna be very good, kind of. If that's the heck, right? I hope you understand what I mean. Like, if he's wait, what? Wait, this is the first time I saw this animation.
I told you it's a shin kick.
He just trips them up. Like, yep, get fucked. It's amazing. I wonder if it's. I don't know how much recovery is that. Either way, when it comes to John as well, I don't know do we know the feat? Well, no, we know the feats. Does anyone have the feats? Maybe in the chat or something that we can talk about? Because I know that he has some weird feats. Oh, some interesting edit there on the Warriors. Then thank you, Ubisoft. As long as you have the feats, because otherwise I'm just gonna have to, I guess, pull up Fighting Cowboys video. Real
Yeah,
quick.
that's the only place I know him of.
Okay.
Where to get him?
All right, Fighting Cowboy. So he made a video, like I think the first person to make those videos.
What is
I go to his channel to like see the videos that happened like 2 days ago, and he already has like an entire series of We Happy Few Let's Play. Okay. All right, let's go to the feats. I think I should be able to pull this up on the screen right here. Okay, so this is Fighting Cowboys video. Make sure to watch it if you want to see a little bit more. Okay, so Nusha is first. So where are the feats exactly? Okay, tier 1, she has caltrops. Drop caltrops that deal damage to moving enemies and allies in target area. We would have to be able to see this to be able to say whether it's good or not. By the way, I just want to make sure that some of the feats that we do know what they are, what they do. Then we can say whether it's good or not. Bounty Hunter, good feat. Rush, sure. Deadly Duet, which deals more damage in close quarter combat against an enemy who is alone. That's very weird, but I guess it's like specifically 1v1 kind of feat, which is weird because later on she has a specifically 1v4 or something kind of feat, but whatever. So that's the feat. That's the new feat for her. Revenge attacks, which is whatever, and Thick Blood, which thank you Ubisoft for giving more characters Thick Blood. Thank you very much. Very cool.
Well, what do you main again? What's your main character?
What's my main again? What's my main again? Oh, thank you. Very cool. I think we should give more character stat. Okay, Thread of Fate, tier 3. Bind an enemy. Bound enemy cannot run, sprint, or roll. Bind is broken over time or by distancing yourself. Is this their nerf to feat to rolls? Is this is this how they nerf rolls?
Yeah, I was very confused when I took a look at that feat for the first time in a video I did. I just couldn't figure out, what situations am I going to be there? Yeah, this is a good feat for the tier it's in.
Well, I think it might be a good feat. It all depends on the cooldown and things like that. We don't know the exact numbers of it, right? We don't even know what it looks like. I did mention
that. Yeah, cooldown is important.
Yeah, we don't even know what the cast time of it is exactly.
The wording, I mean, it's stun, right?
What no, it's not stun. It's like it binds them, so they literally can't do anything for a while.
Does it include teammates?
No, it's only enemies.
Or enemies, I should say.
Well, it's on one enemy.
It's yes.
Yeah. So what it does is
thinking of another one.
Oh yeah, maybe the next one. So what it basically feels like it does, it's kind of like you're dead, kind of feat. You're just not gonna live. And I think that might be their way of kind of addressing ganking being extremely potent, but having to be a specific character to be able to gank. So then maybe it's like, okay, well, Nusha, she's not particularly amazing at ganking, but with this feat, she can, kill people. So that one, well, she can kill people in a gank. She can finish them off.
Could be decent in anti-gank, maybe, if it's a 2-gank combo.
Maybe. I can see it, this, again, depending on the specific cooldown of it. If it's like 2 minutes, I don't think it's going to be very good. 3 minutes, not very good. But if it's like a minute and a half or a minute, that could be a really good feat. Because every time someone's low, you just fucking bind them and you just get close to them so they cannot distance themselves, and then now they cannot run away from a team fight. And as a defender specifically, yeah, I saw that setback. As a defender in Breach, this is gonna matter because obviously killing people in Breach is important, especially as the defender. So then that could be a situational pretty good feat. I hope it's good at least. What's the other feats for her for tier 3? Slip through, which is, you know what it does, and takedown, which is an amazing feat. I'm happy more characters are getting that feat. Tier 4, deal damage increasing over time to an enemy and their nearby allies, only if their allies are nearby. So that's the tier 4 feat. It's kind of like Plague from StarCraft, where it's literally just like, it seems like it's just a fucking, like, okay, single target, anyone gets close, they eat damage. So again, we don't know the cooldown, we don't know the cast time, we don't know how long it lasts, we don't know how much damage it deals, and we don't know what the AoE is, right? So we know pretty much nothing. This is literally all we know about the feat. So that sucks, that we don't know much more, because it's difficult to even say whether it's gonna be good. Like, give this a 2-minute cooldown, give this like 10 damage a second for 10 seconds, it's gonna be a good feat. But give it like 3 minutes cooldown, fucking 5 damage a second, and then give it like 2 seconds, is gonna be trash, right? So I don't know what the numbers exactly are, but hopefully it sounds interesting. But it's also another kind of boom, you're dead, or maybe even more specifically, never death ball kind of. It seems like a specific counter to death ball, which is weird, but that's what it does. And then the regenerate, which just regenerates your health, and berserker, which is, why is this a feat still in the game? Why did they nerf this and not feat? I don't know. That's a feat. So you're not gonna be running anything but for tier 4. You're gonna be running probably the other one, the main feat, I guess that she has. Okay, so now the Jung character. I'm sorry, this is amazing production quality. Okay, let's go. I think you're used to amazing production quality on this stream though. Okay, so Jung tier 1 feat. Evening the odds. Give a damage boost to everyone around you. Or around you. Sorry, just to make sure that Ubisoft. Give a damage boost to everyone around you. The damage boost is stronger when you're outnumbered. This sounds like it's too strong for a tier 1 feat, I think. But it might be. I don't know. Havoc, did you play with this feat specifically, or did you not get those feats to play with?
No, I didn't have a chance to test the feats out, unfortunately.
Okay, so yeah, this, like, if again, depending on the numbers, this is extremely difficult to even talk about. But depending on the numbers, this sounds like it could be extremely good. Now, what are his other tier 1 feats? He doesn't have body count, which is kind of stupid. Deadly and speed revive. Deadly is not really a very good feat, but speed revive is. After holding the master rest stance for 2 seconds, you reduce stamina cost and augment stamina regen for everyone around you. This is kind of like Shaolin's tier 3 feat with that heals teammates around you if you hit attacks in keystones, and this is kind of the same thing for stamina for Jung.
It's a weird one.
It is a weird one, but I like that some of those are really interesting. Some of them are kind of, some of them are not. Like the tier 4 that he has, it's kind of like, what is this? What did they do?
I get what you mean, because feats do really need some more diversity and identity within them for variety's sake.
Yeah. But it does feel like they just kind of, except for those feats that are just made for those characters, it kind of feels like they just they just tack on random feats on top of characters. Like I'm not saying like, obviously there's a reason why X character has Y feat, because for example they're in that faction, or of course for these characters now, but they're X class and things like that. But those feats are just, I don't know, like there needs to be a balancing on top of all those characters. If that makes sense, if what I'm saying makes sense, like the feats need rebalancing. Some of them need redesign, of course, but some of them just need simply rebalancing. And it's just like, nope, you get takedown. Have fun. It's like, can we please make this a feat first before giving it to more characters? I don't know. Just kind of
I agree. Like some feats could be really, really cool, really good simply by being tweaked. For a long time, I just thought about them as dead feats, and there should be new ones in the game. But I think what you're saying, tweaking it changes to current dead feats, let's call them.
Yeah.
Some people have to go, well, like I could have this feat or I could have that feat. This is good for this thing, and this is good for that thing.
Yeah, I think. I'm not asking for like every feat for every tier to be viable in most situations. I'm just asking like for each tier, can we please at least have like 2 choices? Depending on the mode, depending on the maybe side on breach for something like that. I'm cool with that.
You want to be put in a position where you're making a decision.
Yeah. Like, for example, with Kensei in Breach, all of his tier 2 feats are really good. Chilling Stare is extremely good. Obviously, it's Chilling Stare. Inspire is actually really good. Because...
for Breach, yeah.
Yeah, for Breach, specifically. Inspire is really good for Breach because, A, it makes you kill... minions in one hit with a heavy. B, it makes your soldiers fight faster, which is really good in that mode because minions are actual characters pretty much in those. And then you have Smoke Bomb, which is also extremely good, especially on the defender side, because Smoke Bomb makes it so that minions don't attack you, so we can kill them, especially with body count. So that's great. Kensei has 3 extremely strong feats for tier 2. Can we have that for other characters as well? Like, just like, on one hand you have Kensei, on the other you have Nobushi with Arrow Strike and revenge attacks.
Arrow Strike.
Arrow Strike, right?
Oh god. How can something actually be worse than Arrow Storm?
Well, Arrow Strike can be worse than Arrow Storm. Okay, well, the other feat for Zhang Inspire, which I don't know his damage, so it might not be as good on him as is this on Kensei. But because no body count, it's probably not as also not as good on top of the damage. But okay, nice. Okay, I'm okay with Inspire for Breach and revenge attacks. Why is this a feat? Healing Wave. Create a healing wave of 15 HP for every ally around. This is the same tier, by the way, as Second Wind that cleanses all bleed damage and gives you 40 health. Okay. Well, there's the other tier 3. Tough as Nails, resists max health when unlocked. Okay. And what's the other? Second Wind. Oh, he has Second Wind as well. I didn't actually know that. Yeah, I actually didn't know that he has Second Wind as well. So you're going to be using Second Wind here. And what is it tier 4? This is the weirdest one. Create a semicircle on the other side of your target that creates a wall of smoke that stuns everyone that crosses it.
Yeah, this was the one I got confused with earlier on.
What's the point? This deals no damage. From what
it's a 4th tier, right?
Yeah.
I do not understand it. I was trying to figure it out, but obviously I had to talk while I was figuring it out, so I moved on quickly after realizing I wasn't going to get it done in 30 seconds.
Is this like Infernal Dominion defeat? Is this like you just pop it and you have an honorable 1v1?
I mean, is it the anti-death ball feat that Reddit so craves? I mean,
it's a tier. No, it's a tier 4. It's a tier 4. This is not going to work as an anti-death ball.
Oh man, it's the ultimate anti-death ball. It's tier 4. You
gotta
work for anti-death ball. You know, you gotta earn it through your honorable 1v1s.
Yeah, you have to get death ball to then be able to kill the death ball.
And you can then create a semicircle, ensuring that you will get an honorable 1v1.
A semicircle. Why didn't you just make a circle? Okay.
On the other side of your target, that creates a wall of smoke that stuns everyone that dares death ball from it.
Stuns. Yeah, it's even worse than Infernal Dominion. It's not. It's not smoke. Give me a smoke. Give me Infernal Dominion defeat. Give me fire there.
It's a wall of smoke that stuns. So it's really strange wording because it's not something we have in the game right now.
Yeah. Well, no, smoke bomb.
Stun, right. Does that mean that you can't lock on, or is it just the if you get bopped by a bash?
I think
combination of both.
No, I think it's stun is specifically you getting bopped and not seeing anything. That's specifically what stun is. So you would be able to lock on. Now, now this is Ubisoft wording, so I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, if you look, it says create a semicircle on the other side of your opponent. So you're assuming it's going to stay there.
Yeah.
It's not like there for 4 or 5 seconds.
Wait, it's on the other side of your target.
Yes, at their back.
So it's like
so it doesn't affect. Problem might not affect your target, and all it might do is make their camera a little blurry as they walk through it.
I mean, no, it's behind them. It's on the other side of your target.
Right.
I don't know if it does anything to your target.
But it's a semicircle, so it might be on the other side of the target and on the other side of the target. You know, it's a circle.
No, it's gonna end at your left and right.
I mean, maybe. Yeah. I can't count that out.
Yeah.
Tier 4, by the way.
Can we please get slippery?
Can we call that the honorable 1v1 feat?
It's a Reddit feat.
It's Reddit defeat. Yeah. Again, I hope when in the future, if they ever make more feats or more characters or things like that, I hope they when they reveal those things, I hope they give the numbers, because obviously the numbers are going to be different. They might be different a little bit by the time the characters are out, right? But on the other hand, it gives us a little bit of an idea what we're actually doing here. Like for example, the tier 4 feat for Shaolin, it's extremely not very good, but it has the numbers that it has, so it's actually pretty good in Breach because it has very low cooldown. The tier 4, like the teleport, it's not very good if it had like 3-minute cooldown like every other or most other tier 4 feats, but it has extremely low cooldown. Extremely not very good. It has extremely low cooldown, and because of that, it's good. And we would not know that otherwise if we hadn't been able to play the test. So And I hope for in the future they give a little bit more like data for that. Okay, let's go to the other feat for feats.
Data.
Fire Flask. Okay, that's a good feat. And what's the other feat? Phalanx. Phalanx. He has phalanx.
Mm-hmm.
This Chinese Gan Yu has phalanx.
Very Roman.
Very Roman. He clearly has he has a hand behind.
But think about it. Think about it. Right? You stack.
I don't want to.
I want to think about it.
You stack your tough as nails feet with phalanx. You'll never die.
Craig, think about it like this. He
Okay,
has one hand behind his back. There's a shield in that hand. He just when he pops
bops it out.
Yeah, when he pops phalanx, he just pops up the shield. And that's
he
the
doesn't
character.
do that. He just turns around. With his hands.
He just turns around.
Big ass kite shield.
He just
The
turns
most
around.
hated shield in For Honor.
He just turns around. He like squats and he like goes to his like fucking opponents like backwards. Amazing. Okay, so this is Zhang Zheng. He's gonna squat.
That's why the lead animator quit. you didn't want to do that.
Thank you, Yusuf. Okay, so this is Zhang Zheng. This is all the feats for Zhang Zheng. We already talked about Nusha. Again, like the entire thing that again, the entire theme, I guess, of what we've been saying is we don't know because there's no numbers. We just kind of made fun of the smoke because it's dumb, or at least it sounds dumb. And that's about it. Like there isn't much else. I would like to be able to tell you guys more about the feats. Like for example, with the Tiandi and Shaolin feats, we could actually give you numbers. We could give you all the details that we had because we had played the mode and we had played the test. Sorry, and we were able to talk about it. But here we have no information. So
I believe there is an open test before the release, right?
I think they said something like that. Yeah, I hope so.
We're hinting on it.
That's
Yeah.
what I heard, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, but I think by the time, like, I think if the test is like in a month or something, it's already too late to make any changes, right?
Yeah, true.
Like with the previous day, it was like, okay, well, there's like 4 months, so we have time to change some things. But here would be like, here's early access, please play, right, kind of thing.
I don't know. They've been pretty quick with changes and.
You can't even finish the
I
sentence.
couldn't do it. I tried so hard.
Good try, bro. Good try, broski.
You can't even finish the sentence with a straight face.
Well,
They have been very, very quick with some of the changes. Okay, next topic before next topic, please. What else? Oh, actually, one thing that we did not talk about, and I just want to quickly mention. Actually, no, let's do it at the end. Never mind, because there's gonna be about ranked changes and things like that, so we can talk about that at the end. So now, the last thing we'll be talking about is the spicy gamer news. The Crack and Subback have been really wanting to talk about. Sorry. So the name, like the topic here is called community mindset. So I didn't exactly know what to just call it. So that's what I called it, because this is not about the drama as well. Like I think I've said this multiple times, but I want to make sure that I said this again. This is not going to be about the quote unquote drama. Everyone's stopped caring about it except one leech who's trying to make views of it. I'm not going to talk about that person. So there's no. There's like these people have already moved on, right? These two people who are in the quote unquote drama have already moved on. What matters here is the kind of outrage. Can I call it outrage? The kind of reaction.
Yeah, reaction was fair.
Yeah, the kind of reaction that happened here. So, for those who don't know, like what we're watching right now is Splice trying to win a video game and getting hate for it. It was a ranked game. This was not a normal duel game. This wasn't a custom game made to entertain. It was not a video made to entertain. It was a ranked game where people compete for points and compete for rank, and they want to win. In this specific part of the video, Splice isn't even doing anything. He's just sitting there and eating bashes and eating gun breaks. But I think later he's gonna start running around. So what happened is Splice did not want to lose the game, and then he had to apologize for not wanting to lose. Right? Like
yeah, he got pressured into apologizing and kind of folded to the pressure of a large vocal section.
Mm-hmm. like
of the community.
Yeah, so specifically what happened, just to make sure that this is as fair coverage, I guess, as possible. That what happened is Spliced was every time he would spend any amount of time, every time he would not feel safe, he would just unlock, maybe roll away, maybe sprint away, wait for his stam to come back, and then try to keep his distance from, you know, as a Lawbringer, try to keep his distance as much as possible so he doesn't die. Dying is bad. So in this VOD that I've been told is like really bad, he's not even doing anything. But maybe it's gonna be like next round or something. I'm not exactly sure what happens here. If not, then I have another game specifically shown that has to happen. That where the things happen actually. So this is like the brief overview. Again, we're not gonna go into, oh, this person said this person said that. So that's not important here. What's important though is the bigger picture of how people reacted to someone wanting to win. And obviously I have my specific experiences with this, with the tournaments and things like that. And so this has been going on for since the beginning of the game. But people getting hate for trying to win is extreme, within the rules, of course, is extremely asinine to me. It makes no sense how you can blame the player. Even on my stream I get this, like when I play against a Kong who's playing like he's supposed to be playing, I get people hating the Kong player rather than, not that many. My viewers are amazing. I love some of my viewers. Right as Smeagol's appeared in the chat, so yeah, I can say I love all of my viewers, but some of them, yeah. So even in my chat, which would be like, I don't know, even in my chat I get that, right? A little bit, and everyone else gets that a lot. And whether they're playing against, obviously, if you're a streamer or a YouTuber and you play in a sort of boring way, you're not gonna get as much hate as the opponent playing the same way.
Conk Jules videos don't attract.
But if you made also that, and then if you made a video where you play against someone playing extremely optimally as Kong, you would get a lot more hate on top of the hate that you get.
Yes, right? They get it then. It's like whoever is using the character. Like there's certain characters and then a playstyle with the character that are like taboo.
Yeah, well, and this is Splice doing it, by the way, right now, and Kansas throwing buttons.
Yeah, this was pointed out as a big problem. What Splice is doing right now.
Yeah, which is
and there's an extreme, like, you know, there's a line. Do you know what I mean? There's a line where you draw at stuff like this.
I don't think there is.
But I think where Havoc's
what Havoc means, there's a line with a reaction. Like you can dislike a player style, but you can't go around shitting on it constantly and the player constantly.
Yeah,
I'm talking about a viewer, like a viewer's mindset.
Yeah, I'm okay with people hating the playstyle because this is retarded. This should not be a thing, right? The game, like the way to play ranked optimally is to play one of the good heroes, or like Shinobi, get one chip of damage, get one chip damage, and whilst Shinobi, and get one sliding tackle, get one shield bash, one shoulder bash, and just fucking run around, just walk backwards, especially as Shinobi, walk backwards, start running around. And for 3 minutes, and the game is yours, because there's no way anyone can deal damage to you. How are they gonna deal damage to you, right? If they try to, well, then now you have roll, you have sprint, you can just hit them with your bash if you're playing a good hero, and then now they're even more, even more behind, right? Yeah. This is how you're supposed to be playing. And he's not even, like, obviously, like, Splice is not a competitive player. He doesn't do it how a competitive player would do it, and obviously, same goes for Kenzo. Kenzo doesn't deal with it like a competitive player would deal with it, but they both, not Kenzo, but Splice still gets hate for this, and this has been the case for the year and a half that the game's been out. It's very rare. Actually, no, I don't want to say very rare. It is relatively rare that people go for, at least the vocal minority. That vocal minority goes for the playstyle, or goes for Ubisoft, or for the tournaments as allowing, or something like that, rather than going for the player. I've gotten, for example, many death threats, and we're all really, really funny. But for someone like Splice, who doesn't obviously deal with it like I do, where I just laugh it off and it's like, haha, internet. Obviously, he doesn't deal with it like that. So, and he's made multiple videos like this, where he just apologizes for like playing Scent in the past or playing Shaman.
Yeah, I mean that's silly, but that's just spliced one. I mean, sometimes he caves into the pressure of
yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. But on the other hand, that also means that there was a big part of his community that hated him for playing a character that they don't like.
Yeah, so it's like you said, it's a vocal minority, but I think mindset wise, it's actually the majority.
Yeah,
that's part of the issue.
Yeah, well, mindset wise, not specifically like we all hate the player or something like that. I don't want to be like every one of the 200,000 people playing on Steam the other day, every one of them hates every player they played against that they lost to. It's not this, but it does feel like the competitive, scene or quote unquote scene or just playstyles that come from that just get are extremely people just hate them, and hating the play
they're vilified.
And that's what I was about to say. Like the hating the playstyle is fine, but then vilifying the entire the player, the community is something completely different. And this has been a thing since the beginning, where every time. Again, I don't want to like drop names or anything, but anytime some of the biggest streamers would play against a really good player, their child would be like, fuck this guy, why is he playing like this? Or fuck this guy, he's so tryhard. Fuck this guy, he's so sweaty. And this streamer would be, not all of them, of course, but some of the streamers would be just like, yeah, fuck this guy, he's so tryhard. Why am I playing against this guy? He's so tryhard, right? Like, he's not even good. He's only winning because of X character. Or something like that. Right?
I mean, like you said, a part of it is it's the internet, right? And people are going to express their opinion. If you feel outraged, you're more likely to express your opinion. And if you've emotionally charged situation, you're probably not going to express your opinion very logically or nuanced. So that's part of it, right? And that's kind of life. That happens with almost any topic. Most gaming communities that are competitive have to deal with this to varying levels. But the root cause of it, and that's what I think you're trying to say, Alern, is it's not the player per se, if at all. It's if the game allows this, it's in the rules of the game. That's the issue, right? Like what realistically is a Lawbringer supposed to do against a conch, for example? Like how does a Lawbringer actually beat a conch in 1v1? Like you don't if you play optimally, right? That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
This was his one chance to try to win a competitive game mode as a bad character versus a good character. Yeah. So what else does he do? And so it's mostly about, it's kind of a bummer because, we could talk about this a lot and kind of like sift through the difference of like, hey, this is not the player, it's a game, it's a balance. It's not even, really the developers are not being evil, bad people either. They're not like purposely trying to set up splice for a fall or anything like that.
How do you know that?
Yeah, Rama seems like the kind of guy who...
save that for our stuff.
Oh shit.
But it's we can unpack that all we want, but the people who are the ones, that are hating on Splice for that are not the people who are going to be receptive to that message, unfortunately.
Yeah, of course. It's just kind of talking for the sake of talking. This is a podcast, Seb. Don't shit on my format, please.
Okay. Have you heard of Dota? Have you heard of Dota 2, by the way?
Oh, I've heard it's a video game. Yes.
I mean, the thing that concerns me about it is I was hoping that at this stage in the game's life cycle, such a scrubby mindset would be less apparent. Like occur less often. You'd see it less.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem to have decreased.
I think a lot of it is because a lot of the For Honor community, especially on YouTube, YouTube doesn't really interact too much with a lot of Twitch type communities, and then that's part of it, I think. But
for sure,
a lot of the bigger people, at least at first and even now to a certain extent, they're not competitive players, right? And so they're not gonna, like, if you foster this community that is not in a competitive mindset, you're gonna keep retaining them and adding new people who aren't competitive, and they're always going to be more susceptible to this kind of, as you put it, scrub mindset, where playing optimally is a moral choice, and you're a bad person if you do it.
Yeah, just like being gay. Sorry, I should not have said that. Okay, so
delete VOD if you want Twitch partner.
Delete VOD.
This is why this whole thing blew up so much, because they was both streaming at the same. You know, Splice was streaming on YouTube with his big audience, on Twitch, and communities was going to each other's streams and like talk, so just clashing together.
Yeah,
so it just blew up. Like,
yeah, of course. Like if this hadn't been like two big content creators against each other, this wouldn't have blown up.
Yeah.
I think a small, I think an issue, but that's not necessarily okay, so let me say it like this. I think an issue with, for example, YouTube is that the most popular content is not going to be the content that goes, that has any like kind of high level in it, right? Or it might claim in the title, right? That it has high level.
I mean, some of the most popular content just has flat out misinformation, and no one's called out. I mean, even Kenzo's video on Conqueror Bash being nerfed. I mean, the title says it's nerfed.
Nope, it's not.
There's no confirmation of any nerf.
Yeah, and there wasn't even any frame data.
I mean, I saw it on Reddit, people talking about Conk nerf. I saw it in competitive streams. I saw it everywhere, and there was no fucking nerf.
Yeah, there's nothing. It was just fucking terrain doing different.
Look at this bit of elevation. He's nerfed.
He's nerfed.
He's not fucking nerfed.
Ubisoft listens, guys. Kong is nerfed. God damn it.
I mean, that's. I'm just picking up Kenzo's video example there, but there's more videos like that across various content creators.
Yeah,
you know, and I think there's some attitudes there that are, you know, they're YouTube attitudes, and they don't fit with competitive scenes. Yeah, because there's, one of the problems is we don't have like established wide competitive scene.
Yeah.
But that's a different issue. So without that, you know, without being able to verify who's good, who's bad, like concretely, you know, people having to watch gameplay and check out streams and learn a lot of stuff. Well, they see a guy with God mode in the title, and it's like, oh yeah, this must be what high level is.
Like, it's a problem, like I said, that almost every competitive game is an experience. Like, in a perfect world, the most fun way to play and watch would be also the most competitive, right? But almost every time, that's not the case. Like, usually, to be a very competitive, you need to play more safe, or you want to do guaranteed things, you know, especially like fighting games. Like think of like a Street Fighter where, you know, certain characters over the years and different iterations of that game were loved or hated based on their play style. Like being able to play, you know, a safer play style is probably more boring, but can confirm more wins.
Yeah, I mean, but that comes back to the developers balancing really, and the lack of top-down balancing in order to create a very fun meta for people to aspire to play in.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm getting at, is like it always goes back to the game, and, you know, the design of it is the root cause of, you know, any sort of these types of situations where people are interjecting their own sense of like, you know, what's fair, what isn't fair, and what should be allowed and what shouldn't be allowed, when none of that really matters when two people are trying to win. It's all about what the game allows you to do. And so instead of getting mad at, you know, the player, you hate the game.
Yeah, and this is not For Honor only issue. Like, for example, in StarCraft, obviously I'm going to be using some examples from that game because I've been playing the game for a while. So in StarCraft, for example, people get a decent amount of hate, or the playstyles get hate, for example, for cheesing, right? Or doing early rush strategies. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So every time, for example, you kill someone before like 5 minutes, you get hate on because, especially if you're playing as someone who's really popular, right? So this isn't an only For Honor issue, but it is like the biggest. I mean, from what I've experienced in For Honor.
But we are pointing it out because it seems very excessive.
Yeah.
It's like we understand these things will exist.
Mm-hmm.
If the game was in perfect balance, they would exist. They would be there in the community. I mean, it's being pointed out because it's excessive.
Yeah.
It's a bigger problem than it should
I think a big reason why it's so excessive is because the game's balance was and still is in such a bad state, and the competitive scene is so small in large part due to that the vast majority of players don't care about competitive or aren't aware of the competitive scene. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then one last, going back to YouTube a little bit, I think you guys already kind of touched on this, but I want to kind of throw a few cents on this. Every time, like when you, I think with Craig, we were doing this the other day, we were tapping on YouTube For Honor High Level, and we would get, again, I don't want to name names, but we would get just players who are just not very good. Right, and their titles would be like high level or something like that, or competitive, or high, no, probably not competitive.
I mean, the tag has to be there, yeah.
Yeah, the tag has to be there. So it would be like high level or sick plays or something like that. And I'm not blaming the content creators for trying to get views. Obviously, you're gonna try to get views. It makes sense. But the first tournament that I found when I typed in For Honor High Level was the very first 1v1 tournament in For Glory, which was Extellion. Not knowing that he can punish heavy parries against Nobushi. That was the finals of a tournament, 150,000 views. That's the first one that actually like was a tournament that I found. I'm sure you could find, for example, the 1v1 tournament from Hero Series, right? But that's also not very fucking pleasing, or it's not like educational content in any way as well. And again, I'm not blaming the player. I'm not blaming the content creators for trying to get views. Obviously, they're gonna try to get views. This works, so they're gonna do it. But it does create that notion that, oh, okay, so this guy has a lot of views, I'm gonna watch him, or this guy has high level in his name and he comes up first on the search bar, I'm sure he must be amazing, so let me watch, and okay, this is what high level is like, and then I watch another video and then he loses to, I don't know, Centurion because he's not very good at the game, right? Or Centurion that attacks a lot, and for example he doesn't really know what to do against Centurion, and that's fine for the content creator. But then the content creator might, for example, start just complaining about Sand, and then his entire fan base is like, yeah, Sand is cancer. I knew it. I lose to Sand as well, like that. It's like, oh, so this is so on high level is the exact same as well. And again, I'm not blaming the content creators, because obviously that's that guy's, for example, personal opinion. This is something random. I don't know if this happened, probably, but now you have that guy's entire fan base being like, oh, fuck Sand is so broken, people want buffs, Sand is broken, my favorite YouTuber lost to this character. And it is not, again, the content creator's fault. I feel like I've been saying this for a long time here, but it's not their fault, because obviously they're just showing their opinion, but people are taking it as if they're good at the game, or as if they're high level because they have high level in their title, and that creates so much misinformation. There's so much, right? So much of that in For Honor, right? So much misinformation, so much just fake information that we have. Like, for example, with the Conk nerf, but a lot of other situations, like tier list, for example, people making fun of the tier list because they don't agree that Aramusha's better, for example, or something like that, right? And we get a lot of that, and on top of that, being individuals that we get that from entire fan bases because their favorite YouTuber said that or something like that, right? And yeah, it's just kind of what I think. It's just kind of sucks, but
yeah, so content creators, they do have a massive influence on a lot of people in the fan base, especially, right?
Yeah, like yeah, I would. Yeah, I feel like I'm about to say something really bad, but I would like it if they. I don't know.
Everyone get ready to clip this.
I'm thinking of how to say something bad in a nice way. But what I'm trying to say is I'd like it if people didn't take those people's opinions so seriously, right? And the way to do it is to, for example, every time you make a video and you share your opinion, you're like, okay, so this is coming from me, this is not high level, but then you also have high level in your title, so it's difficult. So then if you don't have high level in the title, you're not gonna get views. So you want to have that. But then if you don't, it's difficult to do anything. And what I was gonna say was really bad, but I think I may seem a little bit better. And yeah, it's just an extremely difficult situation that I don't think we can do anything about specifically. Well, probably.
What we need is more pro players or people that know what they're talking about.
See, well, the thing is,
stuff like yourself, you know.
See, the thing is, I don't think anyone cares. That's been the feeling since the beginning of the game I had. I don't think anyone really cares.
What do you mean?
Is that, like, I don't think besides the 50 people on my stream, I don't think people care what I think, right, in general, or anyone else's opinion that like a top player. I think there's many more people who care about what Flex Deluxe or whatever other random, not a random YouTuber, of course he's very big, but random in terms of like competitive community, any other random YouTuber, right? I think people care much more about that guy's opinion than they care about, for example, mine or anyone else's from the competitive scene. It's just like since the beginning of the game, it's just felt like nobody cares. And
I think that goes back to, Havoc and Crack have a lot of experience with, trying to reconcile, trying to be, honest and talk about competitive things, but also trying to attract viewers on the YouTube landscape, for example. But a lot of that goes back to, if the optimal way to play the game was also the most fun, there would be a lot more interest and a lot more value placed in the competitive scene. Mm-hmm. But because the game's balance has been so bad for so long, and it's getting better, but it's still quite a ways off from being balanced. That's not the case. So you get the anti-gank montage 69 will attract more eyes and sound more exciting than discussing frame data.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
And check out these very optimal ganks on MM players.
I agree, but what I want to say is as well, like, Crag, you have specific experience, and I'm sure you have it as well, but you, Crag, I know specifically, have had experience with, for example, giving spotlight to the competitive players on your channel, for example, right? Or uploading VODs of you playing in tournaments, or showing some more like competitive gameplay in general, or, for example, I know the Breach video we did, right? Or the really good player series you had, the interviews, I guess.
Yeah.
And and this is my opinion, but it felt like even on a channel as big as yours, no one gave a fuck.
Yeah, there was only a small subset, and I would say I'd like to hit on a channel my size an average view count of 40k a video, and those were hitting between 5 and 15. 15 if I was lucky. 15 for like a 2v2 VOD or something like that. Yeah, so it would be like watching a Brawls video for them, except for it has high level or tournament stuck in it.
Yeah,
and Brawls isn't very popular either. People would actually watch tournament duels more.
Yeah, people like duels for some reason.
On video, people will watch duels on YouTube day and night. I don't know why. I don't understand.
I don't know why either.
There you go.
Weird, man. It's something I can't get my head around either.
And it's probably because the duels aren't like very high level duels, like me versus Barak, and I'm not approaching Barak ever. I'm just staring at him with Conqueror or something like that.
Yeah, like
there's no duels like that. These duels videos are casual MM duels. Attacks are being thrown, parries are being landed.
Yeah, even myself, even myself when I made my Valk video, like really quick, just gameplay of Valk, right? I was making sure that I don't get extremely boring games. Like I wasn't gonna put
there's that pressure on you to press buttons, dude.
Yeah, like I obviously, like when I play ranked, this is not competitive, right? I'm not playing a competitive mode for myself specifically. I'm sure other people take it competitively, but it's 1v1. It's an extremely bad mode, first of all, in the game, and then ranked is not very good. So I don't really care. Like I can lose, I can press buttons, whatever. But I made sure not to have any games that would seem extremely boring. Like there was one game that was like 5 minutes long, and I was like, is this too long? Like isn't this too much already? So even myself, I could show, I guess, those duels, but first of all, I think people then would not like to watch duels, at least hopefully. And then like the point of a video, if it's not like extremely educational, which mine that specific one wasn't, is to entertain maybe, or maybe to show something. And if I just show nothing, right, if there's no buttons, what am I really doing with the video, right? So then obviously I'm not going to be showing that, and it makes sense why people like to. What people like to watch that, because again, every other game 1v1, this number of other games, fighting games, things like that, 1v1 is the mode, right? So those people that don't necessarily care much about the competitive side of the game, or they don't care much about high level in general, they're gonna think, oh, this is pretty cool, this is what I like to play, right? So they're gonna watch it.
I mean, how many of us, not like I'm not super competitive at all, but like even good players and competitive players, how many of us would love if 1v1 was a good mode, right? Like that would probably be my preference to actually be able to just play by myself and have a competitive and button pushing time against another person. Have mind games, mix ups. That sounds fun to me. I think a lot of that is in people's minds when they look at duels. They just want to see two dudes just beat each other really hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It might not be
I
dudes.
know I'm saying. I know what you're saying. So yeah, it's just going back to the competitive thing, not enough pro competitive players putting out content and things like that. Obviously I'm trying to do something, but also no one really cares. Is the feeling I've been having. I
don't think it's not that people don't care. I think it's just because the game's been out for so long now that there's already the established people, and what I mean. It's hard to explain, but I mean on YouTube especially, I'm talking the game's been out for so long. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
I understand what you mean, but on the other hand, when someone, for example, as established as Craig, tries to do anything with competitive, also no one really cares, right? So it just feels on one hand, it makes sense that you would only listen to people who already have large fan bases or things like that. But then that doesn't really happen as much. I don't know if Spliced were to make a video with me or whoever other person from competitive. I don't think that
he would get shamed.
Yeah, he first of all he would get shamed. He would get shit on.
You'd get death threats too. Again.
Again. I love that. I would love that. But yeah, and that would happen. And then on top of that, he would not get many views.
Here's the secret, right? Competitive gaming is a very small subset of the general gaming audience. That's what it really boils down to. When people sit down and play a game, the vast majority of people aren't interested in trying super hard and having to research things. If you look, you just look at basic stats of how many people install a game or buy a game and put it on their console and then beat it. The vast majority of people who play games don't beat the games they play. So that's single player stuff, right? And now you're talking about being competitive online against other people, which requires, I need to be aware of patches, balance changes, optimal strategies, things like that. That's always going to be the minority.
Okay. That's not necessarily to watch, though.
I just think that when people think of competitive, people that don't really understand fully, when they think about competitive, they think about the first Hero series or the amount of bugs that was in the game and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but even before that Hero series, it was the same. No one, whenever Skies was, I guess, the best player. That was Cypher, I guess, as well. Cypher would be the best then.
Yeah.
But even then, obviously people cared about Cypher's or Skies' opinion because they were the streamers, but they didn't really care about anyone else's. If I would say something, no one really would care, and I was Scorbrand even, who was probably bigger back then, or I don't know, Kihu maybe even, or Legion. I guess I don't think you should care about what Legion says in general, but even before the Hero series, it was the same situation. It was also extremely toxic in March, April. People are also extremely toxic towards the competitive scene.
I think that comes back to what I mentioned earlier on. Learn with we're quite deep into the game's life cycle. Why is it like that still? No.
Because I don't think
even though the player base got smaller, and these are the people who stayed and played. Or watched.
Because I don't think. Well, there's a few reasons for this. I think the more.
You think they'd be hardcore, right?
Well, I was gonna say that at the very beginning of the discussion where you brought it up, where I'm you'd expect in a fighting game as community that the ones who stay are gonna be the ones who really care, the ones who want to improve, want to play the game, in a more serious manner. But that doesn't really happen for Honor, right? The people who do play it a lot just end up quitting because they've played it a lot. And someone in the chat, hate to say, but the competitive players need to make more / better content. Only reason people prefer the content creators is because they find them more entertaining. Well, yeah, but I'm not going to be making meme videos, for example, right? Or anyone else from the competitive scene. It's not making fun of meme videos specifically here for me. Obviously, they're people find them funny, great. But like I'm not gonna be like the point of a video made by me, for example, is not to make you laugh, right? It's not the point of a video, right? For me.
I always laugh at your videos.
Thank you.
You're doing quite well, you know. Just you specifically, like you know, exactly. You've got a decent viewership. Your YouTube videos do get decent views for the amount of subs you have. But, you know, like,
I know the podcast.
If you're getting more views than the number of subs on your channel, you're doing okay on YouTube. Exactly. That's a rule I've always looked at.
Well, but I'm not. Like, there was one video that's more than that.
You are, right?
No.
What have you got? What have you got for subs?
1,100, 1.1K.
Okay, and how are your videos doing? Like, what's your last 5 videos?
My last 5 videos are all below that. Because they're all the podcasts or the 1v1 gameplay or the word and
it's just podcasts, yeah.
Yeah.
100 on that, so that meets at 577, which went up 10 hours ago. That might meet or beat it. The other ones, they're literally just VODs of a podcast, so don't expect it on that. Yeah, and the last 2 ones you did, which were actual work on videos, one was 6 times your sub count and another was nearly double.
Well, yeah,
so your actual videos are meeting your sub count or beating it.
Yeah, but the only reason that video made it like 6K was because free shouted out.
But that's only one. That's only one. The other ones met or beat your YouTube sub count. 1.8. One met it, and that was 2 months ago. There's some UD, I think 1.1 2 weeks ago. That's around your sub count. 65 views. It might even be 1165 and just not updated.
Yeah. So.
And the one from 10 hours ago is looking promising to beat your sub count number at 577 in 10 hours. So
yeah, but even then, it's like 1,000, right? That's no.
Yeah, but as long as it's meeting or beating the sub count, I've always looked at that as a decent sign. Personally.
I mean, you said
not discussing Alan's YouTube stats. Thank you, said Frank. Okay, well, yeah, we probably.
It's an intervention. We need to get a competitive creator.
No, I think it's fine not talking about me anymore. But either way, yeah, like it's generally like since the beginning. I just want to like say this, I guess, one last time, and then we can either wrap it up or I guess start the Q&A. It's never felt like anyone cared, and it still doesn't feel like this way.
Well,
so I guess all I
the only thing I can say to that is you're inherently like this. The audience that's going to be interested in that kind of stuff versus LOL dank memes in Call of Duty hit marker kind of situation.
I should add those every time I hit the button.
Exactly. It's just inherently smaller, right? But the people that do watch the more competitive stuff, that they're going to be more invested in that and they'll stick around more. That's kind of the trade-off, right?
But I don't know if that works in For Honor though, right? As we said, like you'd expect the people who stay to be the ones who are the most dedicated and the most like kind of accepting
it's more
of the content, but it doesn't feel this way.
They are. I think it's just like think of all the people who didn't watch a single For Honor video, but they played the game for a few months or weeks or whatever. You know, like there's a difference between the player base versus people who engage with the game's media outside of the game itself. There's that's an inherent different set of audience. So there's that part of it, but also just think of how like all these people don't watch videos, think how much worse they somehow are at the game compared to people who occasionally do watch a competitive video here and there, or at least did at some point, or interested in finding out more about the game. Like there's such a huge spectrum of anyone who played For Honor. It's crazy how the different mindsets are and their level to be good at the game is. And sure, we're long into the cycle of the product now at this point, but like we still shed a huge amount of people that were actually really, really bad at the game, and people remaining are still better than those people are. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. All right.
I think they're better by proxy of playtime and natural exposure to certain things in game rather than good perspectives.
Oh, that's a huge part of it. For a lot of people, that is all of it. But there's still going to be X percentage that are better because.
Is it good enough?
No, not necessarily. But and then a lot of that again goes back to how long the game's been out and how bad the balance has been. It almost always goes back to that. Like if the content's good, there will usually be people trying to learn more about that content, engage.
I guess you could say it's easy to make non-casual content entertaining, right? For Honor, it's relatively easy to make casual content entertaining. It's difficult to make competitive content entertaining.
That's a good way to word it, yeah.
Or because, I mean, mostly the meta and the lack of spectator mode.
Yep.
One type of content's easy to get out there and make entertaining, and the other isn't.
And I think that can be said to a certain extent for a lot of games, but For Honor in particular seems to suffer a lot because of that.
Yep. Okay, so I think that's. I think we've, unless anyone has anything else to say, I think that's enough for this specific topic. So that was
the scrubs.
Yeah, basically, fuck all of you, is what we were saying here.
Man shaming bitches.
Is that what we were talking? I think that's what we were talking about. Yeah.
I love my conk, you cunts.
Okay, thank you, Craig. Very cool. So, now the Q&A. So, if anyone has any questions, make sure to add me in the chat, and we'll be able to answer them. We should be able to go for a decent amount. Am I doing this correctly? We should be able to go for a decent amount. Yeah, Havok?
Yeah, before you answer a question, I would like to end this segment by saying that me personally, I would like to see more competitive players and professionals making more content, especially on YouTube as well, like yourself and maybe Setmix, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll keep making, right? Like I keep making the guides or for the characters Hero Friday, right? It's probably gonna be about it for now, but I don't know, maybe if you have any other ideas. So
I mean, we've got March and Fire around the corner, so views are going to be boosting again.
Bro, March and Fire. Every time new heroes come out, fucking tutorial or guide for a new hero, boom, views.
Yeah, but I'm not.
You need it day one, bro.
That's the issue. I would never make a guy within like a few days.
Well, I'm sorry. Your quality of guide in the first day would still be better than the other one's day. This is the kind of mindset. This is scrubby YouTube mindset. Day one, thinking like a YouTube scrub. Day one, dude.
You gotta call it the best guide on YouTube, and then everything you say is an absolute. You like, this is how you play it. This will get you guaranteed wins.
There is no way anyone could ever play differently.
God mode tutorial.
Thank you. Anti-gank tutorial, Grandmaster.
That's it, man. You've just got to learn the ways. That's all.
All right. No, okay, so let's go to the questions. What hero are you all looking forward to most from the Wulin, and why? For me, it's gotta be Shaolin, just because he's fun, but he's not very good. So I hope he's gonna end up being good, but I would be very surprised if he does. But it is for me Shaolin because he's extremely fun. Yeah. What about you guys?
I'm really hoping Jiang Zhong is not as bad as I think he is.
Okay. He has the kick. That's pretty good.
I mean, maybe in fours that would be good for CC. Maybe like Pommel Strike.
Probably gives good amount of revenge.
Maybe I can use it as much as Pommel Strike in points.
Oh boy,
that's a decent amount.
I mean, he's got no body count. I was hoping for him to be someone I could use in mid, to be honest. And I was looking forward to seeing a bit more variety of the heroes that operate in mid.
It's okay, bro. He has a worse second win. Don't worry about
it. He's a team fighter. I'm told he's a team fighter. He's one of the X specialists. Maybe.
One of the X specialists like Aramusha. Yep.
Oh, dude. 600 of us lights and shit. But all that being said, I will try to make him work. I hope he's good.
Yeah, Shaolin for me. I think he was the most fun to play. During the testing that we did, I spent the most time on him. So, and I'm a 1v1 guy, so I personally think pretty decent.
Okay, Sabak.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the monk the most, and then also JJ, big boy, Papa Nobushi.
He's your homie, right, JJ?
Yeah, him and I, we were old college roomies because we're the same age, right? Because I'm so old.
Yeah, that is actually correct.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to casting semi-circles at my opponents. I'm hoping that will help me out a lot.
behind your opponent.
Oh, right.
Honorable 1v1 feat, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an honorable 1v1 feat.
You ain't got that.
It's an honorable 1v1 feat for a hero that
specializes
in team fights.
That's how honorable he is.
He's weakest fucking scenarios 1v1. Let's go.
Okay, do you think the stam recovery thing of JJ will be OP? No, probably gonna be like kind of not very good. I would assume. Like the thing is in team fights, like you will have to go out of stam, and then you need good hitboxes on top of that for the stamina stance to even be good.
I mean, he's gonna live or die on some hitboxes, I think.
Yeah, and from the videos I've seen, he doesn't seem to have good hitboxes. Hopefully he does get adjusted or something like that, but they don't seem very good. Okay, what else? When is the Shinobi guide? You're gonna get banned, Kawaii, if you ask a question like that again. Do I have to play ranked to get to high level because 1v1 blows? You answered your own question. Do I have to play ranked to get to a high level because 1v1 blows? If you want to get to a high level, you don't want to play 1v1. So you answered your own question, Vexing. No, I think 1v1 is a great way to start off with For Honor. Like you can keep playing maybe into like Grandmaster or something, and then you can switch to like 2v2, 4v4, whatever you like. Obviously if you like 1v1, then you just keep playing 1v1. But I would say that's probably the best way. Like starting off with 1v1 is fine. And
I mean,
just
I
get to like
completely,
Grandmaster or something like that.
I mean, I completely look at 1v1 now as simply a mode to practice for 1v1 scenarios in the other game modes.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious about the group's thoughts on the idea that For Honor is moving away from a casual fighting game and more into a competitive fighting game now. It's not.
Is that a question?
That is a question. Well, that's there's this idea, and he's asking about our thoughts on the idea, and it doesn't.
I think it's doing the opposite.
I think game-wise it might be slightly going into the direction, but not even. But community-wise, it's going in the wrong direction. And even game-wise, like. We're getting extremely simple characters. We're getting.
I think the game is either staying casual or becoming more casual. I can't tell unless. Get your hands on stuff.
I think the one part where you could say it might be getting a little bit more like competitive or like a little bit more focused on competitive is with the addition of more like good bashes, quick attacks for 100 ms, things like that, which casuals hate.
Casuals hate them.
Casuals actually hate them. Like they found one way. But on the other hand, sure they might hate them, but it's not like anything else goes along with it. There's no like tournaments. There's no good ranked system. There's no 4v4 rank. There's nothing really going on that would indicate that the game's going more competitive.
Well,
for me at least.
I mean, I personally. The other day, I had a chat with the guys, you know.
With the guys.
Yeah, I mean, the long-term plan is to do what Siege has done. You know, that is their long-term plan.
That's extremely long-term then. Extremely long-term.
Yeah, I mean,
yes,
it'd be nice. It'd be nice, but it doesn't like. It'd be nice to have that as the end goal, but there has to be. Some ways of achieving that goal, which there hasn't been really made. Like,
yeah, but the thing is though, they're definitely not planning on giving up anytime soon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
I think most like people in the scene, whatever that means, like I say this a lot too when I'm screaming how much For Honor makes me suffer when I play it. Sometimes. Like.
On occasion,
yeah, on occasionally. But like the dev team, I mean, I've met some of them in person once, and then I mean, I talked to them for like you know almost an hour after I made myself look an idiot at PAX last year. But like you know, I've been in contact with some of them here and there, and they almost always seem like very receptive to response. They seem like they're always working pretty hard. And it seems like they really do care about the game and want to make it good. It's just that they don't do those things. Like they try, you know. I can't. Like I always stress, like they're trying. Like they're not like just like let's make this character sucky on purpose kind of thing. It's just that's the way it comes out.
Let's give them the participation star. You try.
Yeah, basically, it's like.
Do you know what this 1vx specialist needs? An honorable 1v1.
Thank you, Ubisoft. Okay, so
but yeah, it's like it's very similar to the whole like community reaction stuff we were just talking about. Like you don't hate the people making the game because the game sucks in some ways. They're trying in this case, but it is a bummer that the game has a lot of issues.
I think a lot of people, including myself, are just kind of very frustrated that, for me anyway, For Honor can't be my main game anymore. I literally cannot afford to keep For Honor as a main game anymore. Because it's stagnating a lot for me, so I need to move away from For Honor, and I'm frustrated that I have to do that because I don't actually want to.
I mean, the thing is, it's such a unique game. Like it is the first of its kind, so it would be impossible to get it right from the start. But yeah, I know that things are moving slowly, but like I said, it is the first game of its kind. It's a tough one,
Yeah.
And I think part of that also makes it why it's so hard to move away from it, because you can't really get that fix other places.
Yeah, has anyone else noticed this, including chat? Have you played anyone who's played the game like a really extensive period, right? You haven't played anything else, and then you play the combat in other games, and it's just it doesn't have that satisfying like hit, like landed a raw heavy on some fucker and made when he's not expecting, or mullion someone in this. That's beautiful. Like you don't get the satisfaction. Like the combat when it works is super satisfying.
It's just
but I don't get that satisfaction. I said when. There's a disclaimer.
Yeah, there's a disclaimer. Yeah.
But you don't get it. You don't get it in a lot of games. Like the only other game I look forward to, like combat wise, I mean Soul Calibur. I'll give it a shot. I've played Soul Calibur for a long time. I mean Tekken's a bit fun now. But I still prefer like when For Honor's working. That's the most satisfying combat for me.
Okay,
yeah, definitely.
All right, let's move to some other questions. What core changes could be made to improve the total meta? Change stamina and fix characters and fix the game. I don't know, like make the characters better, and then on top of that, make the core mechanics better. So like nerf rolls, nerf steady guard, change the way stamina works a little bit, like improve stamina pools is basically what I'm saying. In the future, improve HP pools as well, but that's when we actually can attack. So those are like the biggest things. The biggest thing is making sure that the game breaking bugs like roll, or well, not bugs, the mechanics like Alernakin to roll or steady guard, that is a bug, are fixed. That's the most important part. And then let's make the characters actually good. If we have more characters on the level of Warden, then we can actually press buttons. But the issue also is that I don't know if they don't seem to be, like the developers, I mean, they don't seem to be able to create really good characters like on the level of Warden, for example, without doing like the same thing as like Warden. Like let's give him a bash, but this time it's slower, but you can do it later. It's like, is there really nothing else? Like they like things like guarantees on block. I think those need to be worked with as well. Like Valve used to have, like Nobushi has right now.
I mean, it's a case of a lot of dead moves, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of dead moves in the game. Like there's a shit ton of dead moves. Like so many.
Like look literally at Gladiator and like Lawbringer. Like they're good in certain modes, because of literally like one or two moves, and then everything else is garbage.
Speaking on that setback, like Highlander Second Light, I actually forgot for months that he had a second light.
Dude, every time I use that, I scream Highlander Second Light because it's like, this will never work. Hope it does.
I forgot for, I think, 4 or 5 months.
It has hyper.
The Valkyrie had a third light in her chain. I was like, does she? I was like, after my chat was like, she's got a third light. And I was like, what the fuck?
Bro, can we stop hating? The Highlander Second Light has hyper armor. Just like his heavy. It's 600 a wait, just like his heavy.
I mean,
it deals,
a lot
but there's a difference between the light and the heavy. The light deals less damage.
Nice. Oh well, don't forget, it also used to give a free guard break on block.
Yeah, so that's the difference.
There you go.
Different moves. There we go.
Mix up.
I mean, even just working on those moves alone and making them like reasonable would be a nice place to start, I feel.
Yeah, Havoc was trying to say something, I think.
Wait, am I? What?
Thank you, Setback. Thank you, Setback. Very cool.
Very cool.
Browsing Twitter though.
Thank you, Setback. Thank you, Setback.
Listen.
Okay, let's
his
move.
thing
Let's
lit up.
move on, Setback. Move on.
Clip it.
Let's move on, Setback. Which champ would you buff and which would you nerf? There's many characters that need nerfs in certain areas, but they also need buffs in certain areas as well, like Nobushi, for instance, and literally everything else. Kong with his defensive abilities, needing a nerf but needing a buff offensively. So though, like maybe like a shift in power offensively from the shield burst to something else. There's a lot of characters. I think there's a lot of characters that you could just point to like, yep, that needs nerfing. Like Raider Dash Guard Break is too strong as well if he's an actual character. Some things like that. Aramusha 400 MS Light, that's insane if he's a character. So we have to fix those things. No, like for worse guys like Shugoki or Shugoki, for example, yeah, the Demon Embrace, Hyper Armor being something that needs changing. Demon Embrace killing at one hit. Like there's a lot of things, like a lot of characters have things that need nerfed, need to be nerfed, but they also need a lot of buffs. So it's kind of difficult for me to just point one out. What else is there? What are your opinions on the Warden rework? I think people like, I didn't read the entire question, but the entire question is basically like the person thinks that people complain about the Warden rework, but they think that the Warden rework is good and it's not absolutely safe because it's punishable by a guard break, and and it's fair. It's generally the the situation here. So I think it's with the sliding, it is a little safe because you can just kind of spam feints at the distance, but other than that, it's fine. We need more of that. And by the way, guys, if you have anything to say, every time I answer a question, you can just comment as well.
Okay.
At first, I didn't read. At first, I kind of didn't like the Warden rework, but it kind of grew on me over time. You know.
Okay.
That's all I have to say about that, really.
Alright. What do you think about the new traps ability? If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, then we're having a one chain the hero. That's honestly all it is. Like if it's like 400 MS, like Lennon earlier said, then it's trash. If it's like 300, 200, then it's actually good. It's basically the entire thing here. Yeah,
like you were saying, the character's so simple other than that trap mechanic that they're going to live and die based on how good that actually is. And even if it is good, it's still going to be a one trick kind of thing.
Yeah. How does one get good at 2v2 when people from matchmaking play 1v1s in Brawl? Scrims is the only way then. 2v2 is like the least popular mode outside of tournaments, pretty much. Like 1v1, a lot of people play, obviously 4v4, obviously a lot of people play, but the real 2v2s, not many people play that. So honestly, the best way is if just get a friend and maybe try and find a competitive For Honor, and maybe the main For Honor Reddit, wherever you want to find, or you want to try and find people, just try and find them there. I don't think there's any other way. Is 2v2 more competitive or 4v4? 4v4. Can you ask Setback what was the exact width of his shoulders?
I guess they're looking at a
Setback?
picture on the thing.
No.
Okay. Should Ubisoft implement a guild or clan system where players can communicate and search for groups inside the menu? I'd like a clan or like a tribe. I don't know what the version would be in For Honor, but I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, I'd like it. What do you think about the new? Okay, we already talked about that. Is there anything else? Should For Honor implement a sub-faction system where each faction is broken up into 3 and fight for extra? Setback, what is the faction war? Please tell us. Well, how would this work on? Okay. Thank you, Setback, for being on the podcast today. Why do the developers take so long to make what seem like simple changes? We would like to know as well.
Yeah, that's a very loaded question.
Peacekeeper changes were extremely difficult to make, so I understand how that took a year and a half, but some other changes, it's a little bit difficult to... I don't know. I don't fucking know. PK taking a year and a half to nerf her damage by 20 is...
let's not talk about that one.
Yeah, that's an entire topic for an entire podcast. Are any of you switching to Soul Calibur 6 when it comes out? I'm sure many people are going to be trying it out, but I will definitely try it.
I won't be covering Soul Calibur 6 content myself for content reasons, but I'll try it for fun.
Yeah, I will definitely try it, and if I'm good enough, I'll definitely stream it, but not if I'm not good enough.
I'll be trying it out and streaming it, especially if I'm bad.
Especially if you're bad. Okay.
I'll 1v1 you.
I'll fuck you up, McKellick. How do you think it would be if you could parry enemies who are not locked onto you? Be a mess. You just spam feints in teamfights. Do you think there's a problem with very shallow characters in For Honor? Why? What makes you think that? Is it the fact that we just talked about a character having one mechanic and one chain?
Is it the massive graveyard of move sets?
Nah, it can't be it. Why are there no Tribute tournaments anymore? Because Tribute's bad. There's a lot of issues with Tribute. Random spawns, things like that. Can you go to the next subject? This is the end. This is the Q&A. We're just... this is the next subject.
Yeah.
2v2 would be more popular if we had honorable 2v2 tournaments. Separate 1v1 like God intended. In one Polish 2v2 tournament in the semi-finals, people were like, you're bitches because you're scared to fight 1v1 in a 2v2 tournament.
Yeah.
Do you think they should nerf Kong Shield Bash and buff Heavy Shield Feint Speed? I think they should move the power away from the Shield Bash to every other part of his kit. Yes.
I have a question for Setback.
Okay.
So this is about the faction war. We discussed this at Gamescom. You know, Fragment, the artist, he came up with this idea for basically who wins the faction war, right? So what do you think about this? So at the end of the season, maybe like a week or two before, there's an event for which faction wins the faction war, and basically you queue up and you'll be matched with your faction, like knights versus samurais, Vikings, etc. And you can play any character, but if you play, like, say for example you're a knight, and if you play as a knight, you get extra points. So what do you think of that?
This sounds amazing.
So you're put together with people in the same faction as you as well.
Yeah. So it's actually a faction war in game.
See, the big reason I don't like that is because I'm a knight, and the knights are fucking degenerate idiots who just slap troops on top of the volcano and then spam terrible Reddit memes.
A big part of my viewers is the volcano. Volcano lovers. Can you please not insult my viewers? I am very
your job.
I am very big in the Knight community. Can you please?
I think anything that restricts, or not restricts, but incentivizes you to pick certain characters already gets a weird amount of backlash by a large portion of the community. So I don't know how well received that would be.
I didn't know I was going to be talking about the faction war today on the stream.
I mean, you have me as a guest.
That is right. That is right.
Yeah, just Setback mentioned it before, and it triggered in my brain the idea that
Thank you.
You had faction war PTSD. Remembering that?
Why are 2v2 tournaments so popular in European? We already talked about it earlier. Okay, I think that's gonna be probably it, unless there's like one more question really quick right now. It's gonna be probably it for the stream today. For the podcast. I might stream afterwards. I don't know. Am I gonna stream? I'm probably gonna stream for a little bit afterwards. Sebak, are you streaming today?
Yes.
Thank you.
I am streaming in 4.5 hours.
Okay, and so just twitch.tv/setback_.
Thank you.
Friendly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very friendly.
All right. Yes, for 4:30 AM, I'll make sure always to tune in. So Havoc and Craig, what are you guys doing currently? Are you guys streaming? Are you guys doing something else? What's going on?
Go ahead, Havoc. You go, bro. Borsky.
Oh, you're so nice.
I'll probably stream tomorrow. I'm probably going to watch the rest of the KSI and Logan fight because I didn't watch it before. So.
Well, I wasn't asking you for your personal life. I was like asking.
Oh, okay. What am I doing now after this?
Yeah, like what are you gonna eat after the stream is what I was asking actually. Like, what's
I've got a bowl of Jordan cereal with my name on it.
Thank you, Alec. Very cool.
Very good host. Very hospitable.
Okay, so yeah, like, do you plan on making more videos? Obviously you are, but what's gonna be your next video if you have any ideas?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have any ideas yet. Like I didn't make a video for 2 weeks, and then that thing happened with Skeptic yesterday. I saw that as a good opportunity for a video. So
I see.
just
Okay.
whatever comes up, really. You know.
All right. So just your YouTube is just Havoc, right? But your stream is Havoc for Honor, right? Havoc FH, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you guys haven't followed Havoc, make sure to follow. And then Crack, what's up with you, Mr. Monster Hunter?
Well, streaming's on a break.
Whoa.
But I am working on a big project.
Yeah.
New series, groundbreaking.
Would you like to give us a little bit of a tease, maybe, what the project will be about? This I will clickbait the shit out of this.
I can give you something to tease on stream if you want to take it that far, or I can just tell you.
Give us an exclusive, please.
Exclusive. Let me go to.
Let me go to my publicly available Twitter and give you this exclusive piece of content.
I'm just gonna send you something easy to link.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna show it on stream.
Drag and drop it. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
This is supposed to be work in progress intro, by the way, chat. Please no judge. It's been updated. It will be updated even more. There's a lot of editing.
Oh, my cat is
to be done. A lot of format to be created. A lot of asking setback. When's he gonna write some questions?
So where's the
what?
Whoa.
Questions, bro.
Questions, bro.
I gave you questions. What do you mean?
What?
Okay.
Sure.
Let's show the gamer news real quick.
I need to check the document then.
Yeah.
Boys, we're checking the gamer news, so please be quiet. I like that you included me there at the end. Thank you very much for the cameo. Alright, so I think that's gonna be it. Thank you for the sick tease.
It's gonna be a segment during the podcast, like halfway or something.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is podcast only. Podcast only. This is not on YouTube. This is only.
Can I be like, you play Gamer News, the weekly episode of Gamer News in your podcast?
Oh yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Halfway through, just go for a break and play Gamer News.
Yeah.
And now for the news.
It's breaking news.
Yeah,
interrupt the podcast.
Crack. Tell them. Yeah, if you make an intro, like. If you make an intro to your actual video, like specifically for the podcast, then I'll do it. If you do it now, interrupting the podcast, gamer news, and then you go with your number.
Oh, that can be very easily done.
If you
no problem.
Yeah, if you do that, I'm gonna feature you.
No problem, dude. No problem.
All right.
Is it gonna be Warriors Den friendly?
Is it gonna be? Is it gonna be on the community corner?
That's a big negative.
That's a big negative. Yes.
Big negative. Yes, I see. Okay, so the last thing that I guess I want to tell you guys in the chat more so is please make sure to vote in my poll, please.
It's not just for on our news channel, guys. Come on, there's other gamer news on it.
Yeah, gamers are not only
gamer
all
news.
Of us are gamers.
Plugged into the vein of gamer entertainment.
The most honest corporation for gamers.
The most oppressed class of people.
Rise up.
The gamers rise up. We live in a society. All right. So I think that's gonna be it. So thank you guys for being on the podcast today. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
What are you gonna eat, Havoc, after this?
Probably a Freddo or something.
I don't know what that is. But thank you very much.
Fraggle Rock.
I've got some Freddos in the fridge. So
I don't know those words, but thank you very much.
A Freddo is a chocolate frog.
Chocolate frog.
The what now?
Oh.
A chocolate frog.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm not joking.
Huh. Thank you very much.
Like,
yeah, they're good.
10p each as well.
All right, that's gonna be it for the podcast.
You just eat kebab.
This is enough.
Brother,
get out.
Thank you. I just disconnected. I didn't even say bye. I just disconnected. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna be streaming after this. If you want to keep watching, if not, that's it for the podcast.